Hello, and thank you so much for joining us for this Facebook watch party with Donate Life Arizona for our virtual event, our final virtual event for National Donate Life Month 2021. My name is NICO SANTOS, Media Relations Specialist with Donor Network of Arizona. And much of the work that I do with the organization revolves around storytelling, sharing the journey of donor families as well as organ, eye, and tissue recipients, and really keeping the legacy of our donor heroes alive. And really, any chance I get to do that is a privilege to me. That's exactly what we'll do today with one special donor and his mother. But first, who are we? DNA is the federally designated organ procurement organization for Arizona. Our organization recovers organ, eye, and tissue donations for the purpose of saving and healing lives through transplantation. And starting in 2018, we also started to coordinate the gift of placenta donation by working with mothers who have full-term births via cesarean section. For Arizonans who check the box to be registered donors at the MVD, their information is automatically uploaded to the Donate Life AZ registry, and that is strictly confidential and administered only by us at Donor Network of Arizona. You can also sign up right now at donatelifeaz.org/DLM. You see that here on your screen, DLM standing for Donate Life Month. And as a conclusion to Donate Life Month and all the celebrations we had, we bring you National Donor Remembrance Day today. Established by the Association of Organ Procurement Organizations, otherwise known as AOPO, we invite you to observe this day to honor and celebrate donor heroes who have given the gift of life through organ, eye, and tissue donation. It always lands on the last day of National Donate Life Month, but it's really only one of the many ways that we like to tip our hats to such generosity. And with that being said, we'd love for you at home or at work to write in the comments section who you're remembering today for National Donor Remembrance Day. Maybe it's a loved one who gave others a second chance. Perhaps you're a recipient and you want to show your appreciation to the person or people who were on the other side of your donation, or even simply, if you're a registered donor or an advocate for our mission, feel free to share that with us in the comments section, because we always love to put out that positive energy in the world. Okay, so today's event, food has a really symbolic meaning around the world, really. By sharing a meal, we really hit at the connection, or excuse me, the heart of what is human connection. And if that doesn't lend itself perfectly to the spirit of donation, I really don't know what would. The Recipes of Remembrance cookbook has 84 pages of recipes that remind the families of Arizona donors and their loved ones, of their donor heroes. And the frosting on the cake, so to speak, is that each recipe has words of tribute about why the family chose this specific meal. So here's an example. Donor Trevor Lopez, and this is what his family wrote. Our house was known for spaghetti dinners every Friday night, and everyone was welcome to join. Trevor and I would make the meatballs, and the last one he made was, sorry, always double the size of the others. Oh, in honor of him, I still make the last one. Whew, sorry, I didn't expect that. I talked to Trevor's dad before this event, and he was the one who submitted these words of tribute, and he says he still makes the spaghetti thinking about his son. We're honored to share a little bit about Trevor in such a way. And today we'll be telling the story of a donor who was featured also in the first edition of the Donate Life Arizona Recipes of Remembrance cookbook. And we're happy that you're here with us today to help honor her son. We in the marketing and communications department actually got in contact with this donor mother after she and her family submitted her recipe of remembrance. Her son's name, Will. And as you can see here, he has a warm smile and a sparkle that really just brightens the whole page. CORI HUTCHISON is joining us here today for this year's National Donor Remembrance. Hi, CORI. It's really an honor to have learned about your donation story and for you to talk a little bit about us today. With the picture up on the screen still, can you tell us, really, what's the first thing that comes to mind when you see that picture of Will and that smile?
You know, love. I just love that kid so much, and we miss him. Like, I can remember when we took it, it was the summer of 2018, and we just miss that boy so much.
Oh, I can only imagine. For those of you at home, I am a little bit emotional. I am a sympathetic crier, so if you have tissues handy, you may need them. I don't have any, but we're gonna make it through this. And for those of you actually curious about this, before we talk a little bit more about Will and talk with Corey here, an important note that Will's recipe of remembrance is on page 22, and if you don't have a physical copy, it's available online, dnaz.org/recipes of remembrance. You see that here on your screen as well. And we'll have someone post a direct link to that in the comment section of this Facebook Live. So recipes of remembrance. Tell us more about Will's recipe is avocado toast.
Yep.
Why did you choose that, and why does that remind you and your family of Will?
Well, so when we got the letter to participate in it, it said, think of a recipe that your loved one would make or loved or whatever. And he was 2. So like he didn't have a lot of favorites aside from like, Kraft mac and cheese and stuff. But the kid loved avocados, and he couldn't pronounce avocado, so he called it avocado. And so we just thought that while we could have submitted any family recipe, we wanted one that was his favorite, and as simple as it was, that was his recipe. That was the recipe we made for him every day for months and months, was avocado toast. So that's why we chose that one.
Yeah, naturally, him being so young, right? I mean, I wouldn't have anticipated like filet mignon just yet, at least.
Right.
I mean, maybe he did like that. I don't know, but avocado toast is almost universal,
Right.
almost as like universal as pizza, right? So I think you made a great choice. I personally enjoy avocado toast, and behind the scenes here, before we started, we were talking about maybe we'll make some for lunch today. Let's talk a little bit more about Will. Before getting to his donation journey specifically, describe him to us. What was he like? I mean, you were his mother. You knew him best.
Yeah. So Will was funny. He was really funny. And you had mentioned earlier too, that he was so photogenic, and he really was. He was just this gorgeous boy. He was born at 42 weeks, 10-pounder, came out with that white, brilliant hair. And he was just a healthy, big, growing kid, did everything on target, smart, just funny. He was my third. So he had an older brother and sister that he would play with and keep up with. He loved like normal 2-year-old stuff. Before he passed, his big thing was The Incredibles. He loved them. Halloween was his last like holiday, so big time into candy. That was a big deal at 2. And just kind of like he loved to like wrestle. He was just a boy, boy.
Mm-hmm. We talked offline before National Donor Remembrance Day. You mentioned there was some kind of vascular health issue, and can you talk to us a little bit about that, and how did that lead to his donation journey?
I can. It's complicated, and we don't have all the answers. So he was born that way, but we didn't know it until he started walking, because you couldn't tell anything was wrong. And because whenever he would get sick, his vascular system would compress his spinal cord and cause permanent damage. So every time he got sick, he'd quit walking. And when I say sick, I'm talking ear infection, common cold, anything like that, he would quit walking, which was, alarming. So we took him in, tests. That's what they were able to find, is that he had an abnormality in his vascular system. They called it maybe a birth defect. And his brain stem also had an issue, unknown, don't know what it was. The September before he passed, we were admitted to Phoenix Children's. We spent a whole month there, and he had an experimental surgery to clip one of the veins that was causing the most compression to see if it would help. And it did help a little, but he did get sick again. He got a cold, pneumonia, collapsed lung. Just one morning, he had just had a bunch of strokes. And then the following morning, he was declared brain dead.
Oh, it must have been such a difficult, that whole process to go through as a mother. But I imagine that because you went through that, how do you see donation and its connection there? Because I know he saved and healed others. Does it bring you any peace to know that you and your family, and Will specifically, helped other families to avoid like a similar situation? He gave back.
Yeah, it was definitely helped with coping big time. Knowing that, and like I said, he was into Incredibles. We just took the superhero term and like ran with it because that's what he was into, and it did help with coping, knowing that we were, you're told very little about the recipients early on, and we knew that one was a young girl, a child, and knowing that she was number one on the list, and we just like that was a whole other emotional thing. She was saved by Will for a long time, so that was like that helped a ton with just the coping of grief.
And do you remember the specific gifts that he was able to donate?
He donated a liver and then both kidneys, but the initial recipient for the kidneys, um, I don't know what happens, wasn't able to take them. So it went to this next person and she only took one. So I don't know if she got his right or left kidney, but one kidney went to one woman and then his liver went to a little girl.
You were mentioning that you called him incredible. I
Yeah.
think incredible is an understatement.
Yeah.
While he's no longer with us, I imagine you must have a certain level of pride for what he was able to do.
We do. We do have a ton of pride in it, and knowing that like parts of Will are still living, or still like functioning, and today is just like I'll take what I can get with Will, with parts of Will living. Like I just love him so much, and and to know that he's improved or saved people, um, improved their quality of life or saved them is just like I said, it's what helps me cope with his death.
And when's the last time you made avocado toast in his honor?
Oh, well, yesterday. My other daughter loves avocado, and actually I think she put it on chips, but we still make it the same, just like that. And we think of him every single time, and we still call it avocado because that's what he says.
Yeah, I'm sure as we say this a lot. No one wants to become a donor family, right? Because in the work that we do, we know that there's loss involved, but I imagine there's a lot of special moments, including when you make avocado
Mm.
toast, excuse me. I don't want to get that one. Before we move on, tell me uh, in a few words, like what exactly has donation meant to you and your family in such a difficult time? Loss and mourning. I imagine the grieving is a really long-term process.
It is, and like I said, it's a huge coping thing. It's something that so donation was always important to me. I don't know. I picked it up in high school somewhere where like, oh, I'm going to be an organ donor. I'm going to be an organ donor. So when he passed, my very first question was, what can he donate? Can we do it? And my husband was taken back by it because I don't think he was prepared or thinking about that at all. And so for me, um I've had like I guess a relationship with thinking about it, like about donating organs and tissue for some time. So I've always thought that science is so cool that we can do stuff like that, and that others get to like I said, improve their quality of life or extend their life because of other people that gave this gift that when you pass, you can't use it anymore. So, why not continue? But my older son and daughter, I don't know how much they get of it or how much that helps them with uh, coping and whatnot. They just know that, that he donated um, some organs. And then my husband, like me, I think it just helps with the coping, knowing that he was able to save people. And it's just really cool to uh, have parts of him still around.
I appreciate you for sharing that. I didn't know that detail that it was something that you had brought up. But
Yeah.
to say the least, we can only thank you for such support and your belief in our mission and being willing to help save and heal others in what is an unimaginable dark time, right? We hear from donor families like you and many others, and they mention to us often that the healing that is offered through donation for transplantation is very much a two-way street in different ways for obvious reasons, but we hear that there's like a sense of peace, or some call it a silver lining. Some people say it doesn't take the grief away, but maybe just the edge off, because they knew that this person who passed away could save or heal one or multiple people. And the other side of donation is exactly that. People have an illness or an ailment affecting their quality of life, or people in organ failure waiting for a second chance to live a healthy, fulfilling life. And so that's why, CORI, we have a bit of a surprise for you today.
Okay.
If we can reveal now who our surprise guest is. Thank you so much for joining us to help honor Will. If you could introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about what you have cooking up over there.
Yes. Hi, my name is Katie Sarten, and I just finished making Will's avocado toast in remembrance of him. I am a 2-time liver transplant recipient. Sorry. I received my first transplant at the age of 6 years old and was blessed again in 2020 with the gift of life. It's just so heartbreaking, but like you said, his story continues on with those that he saved. And I just wanted to personally thank you and your family for sharing Will's story, and also the importance of organ donation. My life was saved twice because of the selfless acts of love that the donors and their families make during such a dark time. So I can say with 100% certainty that there's not a day that goes by where I don't thank my donors and my donors' family. I celebrate each day of life that I've been given. I celebrate the lives that my donors lived. And also, again, just the act of organ donation.
And I can tell you that your donors' families love you also, because Will's recipients, I love them like family so much, and I haven't even met them, and I just love and wish them the best, you know? So thank you.
I just want to chime in here. Katie, thank you so much for joining us. You apologized earlier for being emotional, but I would like to invite you to not feel like you need to apologize. With, organ donation on both sides is a profound experience, and there's a lot of emotions involved. I don't even have a personal direction, and I'm a wreck over here, so no need for you to apologize. If you don't mind, though, Katie, a little bit, because you were originally a pediatric recipient, can you walk us through that a little bit? What happened that your health declined, that you needed such an intervention?
Yeah, it's a pretty quick story. I got sick around 4th of July in 1996, and my parents kept taking me to the emergency room, and the doctors were just like, it's the flu. And then the next morning I woke up and the whites of my eyes had turned completely yellow. So they finally admitted me into the hospital and ran all of the tests, and they found out that it was my liver. And this was probably mid-July at that point. My parents had the choice between different hospitals to go to, and once I got settled into the hospital and on the waiting list, it was 9 days until my family got the call, and it was in the middle of the night on July 31st that I received my first transplant. And sometimes I think being a kid and being so innocent really helped with that whole procedure. I was just upset that I wasn't outside playing in the middle of the summer, not really understanding how severe my condition was. So I received my transplant, and all throughout it, they were trying to figure out why my liver decided to fail, and we never had an answer. They think it was a type of hepatitis C. I was 6 years old at the time. They have no idea how I would have become in contact with it, but my liver just shut down. And up until from age 6 to age 28, I had no problems. I was able to grow up like a normal kid, did all the after school activities, went to college, got married, traveled the world. And then in the beginning of 2019, I started getting sick again. The summer of 2019, they decided that it was time for me to get evaluated again to be relisted. So that was in June. We had that conversation. In July, we ran through all of the insurance logistics. And in August, I went through the evaluation. And in September, it came back. There are some few other issues that we had to get under control. And I was listed then in December of 2018, again on the national waiting list. 2020 rolls around, and 3 weeks into the year, we got the call that they had found a liver for me.
Oh, at the risk of sounding like a broken record, we have to know that the foundation of all of this, your two stories, and the reason that we are working on this mission to save and heal lives is because of the generosity of donors and donor families. I know both of you know that personally and very well. You, Katie, even shared your appreciation very eloquently. But I'm curious, Corey, since you are a donor mother and you're a donor family, what is your message to other donor families who are maybe just coming out of that process? Do you have any advice for them? What has your experience taught you?
That's a really hard question to answer for me, because like I said, I've never even not considered being a donor. I mean, I never thought I'd be donating my child's organs and tissue, but I don't know. It's a hard one to answer. I think that, when I'm feeling real down and I miss him really bad, and because that stuff doesn't go away, I always have to remember that, like, parts of him are, and I'm a broken record, but parts of him are still around, and he improved some people's lives, and he saved a life, and all of that just helps me. It gives me a lot of pride. Like, when you lose a child, you wonder about the what if he was still here, what would he be doing, all that. And I can say that I am so proud of Will at being a donor, and that just for me just helps get through those really just awful moments that come soon after loss.
I've been a transplant recipient for well over 25 years now, and it's just always been a part of my family's conversation, and we advocate for it. And it's one of those like Corey mentioned, what are you going to use those organs for? You can continue someone's story. Death doesn't have to be the end. Give someone else an extended chance at life.
Absolutely. If you don't mind, Katie, can we see one more time what you cooked
Yes.
up there? That's the avocado toast.
Yes.
Oh, and the spicy one too.
We did. We added some of the optional red pepper flakes, and it said that Will would always want to eat more than just one, so two, just in case.
Yeah, it looks very tasty. We appreciate you for both of you really for sharing your story, for Katie being willing to help us honor Will in such a way, which is through food and storytelling. So Corey, for you specifically, we know that none of the work that we do would be possible without donor families like you who say yes to generosity in such an unimaginable time. And because Katie, you've been so vocal, we are grateful that because we've seen your social media, you were very outspoken about organized tissue donation, constantly encouraging people to register. So we appreciate both of you for your unique contributions, and we are, and I mean this 100%, constantly humbled by families like the two of you as we have here. So once again, thank you, and really for everyone who is watching, we invite you to register today as an organ tissue donor. If you are already registered, we invite you to have that conversation with family and friends and encourage them to do this, to register as well. And on this National Donor Remembrance Day, we honor both of you here with me and all of our donor heroes. Keeping their legacy alive is so important to us. We never forget. And for the viewers, if you're interested in sharing your connection to organ, eye, and tissue donation similar to today's event, you actually have a few options. liveonaz.org is a great place to get started. There you can share your story, and once it's approved, you can share the link with friends. Other people can comment and register actually in honor of you if you're a recipient or maybe a donor that you feature in your story. You can also volunteer with us. You can just go to donatelifeaz.org/volunteer. The application and onboarding can all be done online, so you don't even need to leave your house to get the ball rolling if that's something you're interested in. If you're looking for volunteer opportunities, take this as a sign, and really from the bottom of my heart, happy Friday to everyone, and thank for everyone, really, you two and all of our hospital partners, the 5 organ transplant centers, our community partners, ADA-MVD, I could go on and on, really for making National Donor Day 2021 and Donate Life Month 2021 extra special. So I hope you have a safe and healthy weekend. Thanks to you both.